Welcome to From This Day Forward, a wedding industry podcast. My name's James Clarke, your host and wedding photographer behind Just James Weddings. This is a space for real conversations with couples, photographers and wedding suppliers, exploring what truly matters on a wedding day and how meaningful images can be created. Without further ado, let's jump on into the next episode. Hey, and welcome back to From This Day Forward, a wedding industry podcast. I've made sure I've hit record today after the last episode, and I'm very excited to say I've got a lovely lady in on the show. And before I butcher her name anymore, it's very simple actually, but I'd like to welcome to the show today Leanna.
Yeah, that's
got it.
Good.
Who is a makeup and hair stylist. So welcome along, Leanna.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
So I absolutely know nothing about hair and makeup. I did mention in the second episode that I had put on or forgot to put on some concealer on a spot, and I've just noticed I've got one today. That's about the extent
I haven't even noticed. You're all right.
Good.
I haven't even noticed.
Good. So that's the extent of my makeup experience. And with hair, I literally fail all the time at doing my girl's hair, and that's just a simple bun. So you are much...
Yeah, but young girls are fussy. Young girl, yeah. I've got a daughter who's nearly 11, and I don't do it right for her, so I wouldn't be too harsh on yourself, because parents never get it right.
There's a great guy on Instagram, actually, like Dad. I can't remember what his Instagram's called, but basically teaches dads how to do girls' hair. Yes. Maybe I need to watch that a bit more. But he basically, all I can do basically is just a basic ponytail. So that's the extent of my. So you're in a much better position than me today to talk about hair and makeup. So
I'll give it a stab.
Give it a stab. I know we're both in the same position today. But we're feeling, even though I'm 7 episodes in, I'm still feeling a little bit. So we'll just have a nice chat, and hopefully brides and even photographers and other suppliers might get something out of this episode too. So just tell me a little bit about yourself. And I know you mentioned before this that you've got a big team that work with you. So just talk to me about your experience with weddings and how you got started, all that kind of good stuff.
So it's a bit of a again, a lot of my that people know me will probably know my story. A lot of people won't. I just turned 50. I'm not ashamed to say it out loud. So I've just turned 50, and when I was about 16, I wanted to be a makeup artist in TV and film. And I grew up being on the stage, doing dancing, acting and stuff. So that was my dream, to be an actress. And then I suddenly got the fear having to go to drama school and thinking, I don't know if I'm cut out for that business. It's a bit cutthroat. So the next best thing for me was the makeup route, but at that time there was nowhere in the southwest. Living in Bath, there was nowhere to train. It all had to be London based, and the bottom line is I just didn't want to move to London. So it was as simple as that. I didn't want to go and live in London. I'm a bit of a homebod, and I let that go as a pipe dream. I did some courses on the side. My mum used to own a fancy dress shop, which was good fun. And she used to stock a brand of stage makeup. So as part of that, I used to pretend I had a job with my mum in the shop. And so I got sent on a lot of makeup courses for free.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. But it wasn't to be. And then fast forward until I was, 35, 36, 30, 37. I was not having a great time in my office job. I'd had my oldest child. And I thought, I need to get out. I need to do something different. And as luck would have it, makeup school had just opened in Bath.
Nice.
And so I went and enrolled on the Bridal hair and makeup course, and carried on working a few years until I had my daughter, the younger one.
Yep.
And again, I realised I need to try and give this a good go. So I've now been freelance for 9 years. So it took me till I was 41 to really get to where I wanted to be when I was 16. And here I am now. I say living the dream. It's great to be self-employed, but it's hard work, and a lot harder than I think I ever would have imagined.
It's quite funny because
the same being self-employed.
I say we're probably in the same boat then, really, because I didn't start until I mean, probably a bit younger than you, but it's interesting how people have different paths to what they actually want to do. Like I've had a few different careers. Obviously, you found your way through different types of makeup or working with your mum, that kind of stuff. But I didn't start photography really until I was well, I've got to do some maths here. No, 32, 33. So like,
Oh, really? So quite
yeah,
late.
quite late. And I know there's some other photographers out there that have jumped into it, like Paul Aston and people like that have started quite late. And I don't think it really matters. I think once you find your passion and you love something, and you find the kind of niche that you want to get into, like
Yeah,
for us, for example, is weddings. It doesn't really matter what age you really start. I know you probably have a shorter career than most, but actually,
yeah. There's
um,
that. I think I for a long time, and I've been saying this to clients recently, for some reason, when I was first looking at being a makeup artist, sort of
yeah,
like 16, 17, 18, I don't know if somebody told me or it was just a common misconception that somebody said you have to be able to draw or paint to be able to be a makeup artist, and I can't. I'm hopeless with a pencil or a pen or a paintbrush. So I thought, well, I can't then. And again, back in the early 90s, it was no internet to sort of start searching
mm,
things up on, and I just thought, well, that's that then. If I can't draw, I can't do it. And I
hmm
didn't know any different until I got older and then started realizing actually you can pretty much put your mind to anything if you want it badly enough. And thankfully, not at the time, but in hindsight, I had such terrible employers.
yep,
They forced me to do, I couldn't, I was so unhappy. I just couldn't stay where I was.
yep.
And I moved from one unhappy employed job to another unhappy employed job. And yeah, if they hadn't been so horrible to me, I don't know if I ever would have been brave enough to make the leap. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm obviously thankful for them to being so vile to me.
So if you
So
can't
thanks.
draw, then you'd be useless at Glow Up. Then have you ever watched Glow Up
Yeah,
before?
I have, and it gives, oh my God, it gives me
Does
palpitations.
it?
Yeah, because I also liken it to, there was a program on years ago about singers,
Uh huh.
and they, a lot of them were pop singers, and then they made them sing rock and opera.
Interesting.
And I liken it to Glow Up. If you got me on there doing my style of makeup, which is very light, minimal, natural beauty makeup, and you
Hmm
got me to do loads of prosthetics or drag makeup, and it's a different skill set. I wouldn't know what to do. And so yeah, I take my hat off to those people, but I can't watch it because it makes me feel a bit weird.
No, it's my wife's favorite program. I think whenever it's on, I've dabbled into watching it a bit, but yeah, it's not my thing. But
It's incredible what they produce,
yeah, I
but
know,
yeah,
stunning,
not
isn't
for
it?
me.
You mentioned a minute ago, like misconceptions. Are there any misconceptions in the like bridal, like hair and makeup
Oh,
industry?
plenty.
Yeah.
See, I mean, the main sort of ones are like with hair,
Hmm
dirty hair is best.
Is it?
Like, no, that's what people think. If you've
Oh, that
got
messy.
dirty hair, like don't wash it for a couple of days. It's much
Ah,
easier to put up. And no, you can ask, I think, any hairstylist, and they would much prefer to work on clean hair than dirty hair. So I always ask my clients, depending on, we'll have a bespoke conversation about their hair type in
uh-huh.
advance, but yeah, clean hair is better than dirty hair. So that's one. Another misconception is if you're doing what my signature style is, which is a very light, minimal, natural makeup, it doesn't take very long, because to the naked eye, it doesn't look like they've got much on their skin.
Yep.
But to act, it's actually almost more time consuming to make it look like there's less there than really painting it on, like
hmm
really heavy makeup. It's not my thing, and it's for some people, not for others, not for me.
Yep.
But yeah, people think, oh, it won't take long. It won't take you long. Some clients say it won't take you long because I don't wear much, but you still have all the
Still
prep
gotta
of
do
the
stuff.
skin and layering the products very finely, so you get that natural look.
Yep.
But actually, quite a lot more goes into it than people realise. Another one is how early, yeah, you need to start on a wedding day. People don't often think about that as well.
I'm never going to be envious of how early you guys have to wake up. What's the earliest you've had to wake up for a wedding?
I think maybe 3:15.
Wow. Is that because of the
Yeah.
journey or just like when
Yeah,
you'd
it was a
start?
combination. I think it was for, yeah, that, yeah, I think that was for somebody who was traveling on somewhere else
Uh-huh.
to the wedding, and they had quite a distance to travel, and that's not the norm. But quite often, you'll set your alarm for 4 something,
Mm-hmm.
5 something is very common. So when you have like an 8 a.m. start, it's like, let's go. It's and I'm rubbish in the mornings traditionally. So again, I don't think I thought that bit through before I started doing this job. That's something
Mm.
that I hadn't realised. And there's a lot more that goes into it behind the scenes, again, that I hadn't thought about when I first wanted to do this.
Because you're like the first people there, aren't you? Really, from a supplier point of view, and I'd imagine because I'm there like a few hours after you started,
Yeah.
but you're there. You're like they're just setting up. There's like probably a lot of nerves going around,
Yeah,
and
or
you're like
grumpy people that are
you
rubbish in the morning, and they're
exactly.
grumpy because they've drawn the short straw of having to sit in the makeup or hair chair first, and they come out and they're like half asleep still. And I didn't want to go first. My sister, who's the bride, made me go first.
Do
So
you feel like you have to be a therapist then, as much as a hair and
yeah,
makeup artist?
yeah, you do. Especially at the preview appointments that I have with clients
Yep.
before the wedding. Yeah, it is, I suppose, like hairdressers. You hear all sorts,
Yeah, I
and
imagine.
yeah, you talk about everything. I hear a lot about in-laws, um, which is always a bit of a touchy subject.
Makes you
But
probably
I
want to
suppose you
stay.
always meet couples together pretty much, don't you?
Yeah.
So you're not going to have one start bad mouthing the other one's parents in front of them, are
I
you?
mean, touch wood. I've not had like a bad experience yet in terms of family family feuds and stuff like that. I've never had that. Or yeah,
Yeah, no, I've heard a few, but generally speaking, I mean, I'm so lucky. I've
yep.
had so many. I don't know how many weddings I've done exactly because I'm rubbish at counting, but it's over 300,
Wow,
probably closer to 350 now.
nice.
And through all those people that I've met, yeah, there's been some quite sad stories
Mm,
in amongst it actually, but we've had a lot of fun as well, and some such interesting people. Somebody I had one bride once who was so nervous.
hmm.
She like took Valium just before she walked down the
Really.
aisle. And yeah, she was hyperventilating, and
Hmm.
yeah, that was quite a worry, that one. But generally speaking, people are very, very kind and lovely.
What I will say though, if you do start early, you do finish early. Whereas we're there till like 10, maybe 9, 10
Yeah,
at night, and then you
yeah,
drive home. So you're like probably either tucked back up in bed or you're just cracking on with your day. Um,
yeah. Although you say that, normally I get quite wiped out,
do
especially
you?
if because I don't, and I think this is quite common amongst us, but you know, people that are first on the scene, you don't sleep very well the night before because you're paranoid about missing your alarm. So you don't
Mm,
sleep very well.
yeah.
And so then you wake up and it's early, and I still get really nervous before every wedding. I
Oh,
want to
that's
do a
nice.
good job. It's really important to me that I do a good job,
That's good.
and I want to pitch. I want to pitch it right. I want them to feel good. My approach to what I do is all about how it makes people feel. It's all good and well for me to say, yeah, I think you should have that, and it will look great if you do that, and you really should be having this looking like that.
Yeah.
But if they don't feel it and they don't feel comfortable, they're not going to feel relaxed
Yep.
and happy and confident, which then transpires to the photos, doesn't it? You must, I
Yep.
don't know, you must see some brides that you can tell they're not relaxed, and it isn't just because of the nerves of the day. Maybe it's because they're just not
Don't feel
feeling
them. Mm.
right.
I've definitely had at a few weddings where brides have had their makeup done, and either they didn't, I maybe have a trial, or they had a trial, but then either the lighting maybe differently in the prep space that they're in, and suddenly they're like panicking about how they're looking from their
Yeah.
makeup point of view. And that's why I love it when you talked about sometimes like natural looks or very basic makeup actually looks really, really good because they then feel like they're much more themselves.
Yeah.
which is really good, I think, for brides to know. It's not always best to overdo it, I think. And
Yeah.
like you said, that photographs way better because they, like you said, they feel good. They can feel more relaxed, and then they just generally just then take a better photo.
Yeah. I did a bride quite a few years ago, and a friend of mine was the wedding photographer.
Yep.
And I think he knew the couple on a personal level as well,
Yep.
so he kind of knew them. And when I got the pictures, they were really beautiful. I mean, stunning pictures.
Yep.
She just didn't look relaxed,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure that this was necessarily down to hair or makeup. I'm not sure it was down to, but I just remember him saying she didn't relax until we went out for this sunset shot,
Hmm.
and then you got the really good pictures
Yep.
because you can see that she just wasn't relaxed in her photos. So I probably just shot myself in the foot by saying that. As far
No,
as I know,
because I think
I only did her makeup. I didn't do her hair, but she was happy. But I think she was very, very nervous, and there was
there's
maybe something else going on. But it didn't. And the photos were not great.
yeah, I mean, I think there's so much that goes like into a wedding day, and it depends probably on the bride, I suppose, that in this scenario. But there's so many things that can like affect, like I think a bride or a groom's mood. Like it could even be the venue that they're in, and they're having to play up to it, or they're
Yeah,
worried about what people might think about speeches or
yeah,
different things that they've actually booked for their day. There's so much that can go on, but I do find when people get out for their couples photos, because they're with each other rather than around everyone else, that then they start to relax. But I think there's so many factors that can like play into how a bride's feeling. To be fair,
yeah, yeah. There is, and sadly, you know, some outside influences from family.
yeah,
Families obviously can cause a big um have a big input and
yep,
impact on
definitely.
couples' days. And again, I've had people in for their previews that have said, I don't really know what I want. And you can kind of tell when someone's not telling you the full story.
Hmm.
Um, and then it invariably comes out, oh, well, I want to wear my hair up, but my mum really likes it down,
Yep.
or my partner really likes it down, or vice versa.
Hmm.
And so my advice is always just do what makes you feel comfortable.
Yep.
If you're comfortable, you're going to be even more radiant, you're going to be more relaxed, you're going to be glowing, you're going to absorb the day, you're going to love it. Whereas if you do what you think you should do in all aspects of a wedding
Yeah.
day, people, I think, tend to think, well, I should do it this way, and we should have our speeches then, or we should
Hmm.
have our photos then, and bridally, I should wear a veil, when there's no
Mm.
rules. You
You don't
don't
have to,
have to
no.
wear a veil.
Nope.
You don't have to have speeches. You don't have to have a first dance.
Don't have to have a white dress.
No, you don't. And again, I had another lady in last week. She said, I'm not a girl's girl. I don't wear skirts and
Mm.
dresses, but I think I should wear a dress. I said, no, you don't have to.
Nope. You can wear a
Wear what you
jumpsuit if
want.
you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, and they look so cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I've done
yeah.
a few jumpsuits. They look really cool.
Yep. With pockets. A
Um,
bride loves a pocket.
oh yeah, yeah. Your tissues,
Or
because there's always going to be
pockets. Yeah, yeah,
tears.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned trials and you called them did you call them previews?
Yeah.
But do you always do like trials, or do some people not do it, or have one and then you just doing it on the day, like or like what do you
So
do?
it's not some. I know some hair and makeup artists, it is a prerequisite to booking with
Yeah, yeah.
them. If you don't book a preview, they won't take the booking.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't do that, but it is highly, highly
Yeah.
recommended because for one thing, you're in such close proximity to each other
Yeah.
for a length of time. Like, the physicalities of the job, you are in people's,
Hmm.
space, personal space. And if you don't gel with that person,
Hmm.
that instantly makes for a really awkward, experience on the wedding
Yeah.
morning.
Hmm.
So it's kind of goes both ways. You have to see that you're a fit for each other.
Yep.
We, as in, I think I can speak collectively as a hair and makeup artist, although if there's anybody out there that wants to correct me, feel free. I think, I like to see it as that people are choosing what it's like, almost like a menu, if you
Yeah.
like. So they've looked at my website, they've looked at my Instagram, they can see what kind of style I do, the kind of looks that I am comfortable creating. So they picked me based on that, maybe reviews they've looked at. And then when they come for the preview, it's not a test to see if I'm good enough or if we're good enough. It's to choose from the menu, what you want from the menu of what we can offer. But again, it's still quite a nerve-wracking experience, because even though I say it's not a test, you want to put your best foot forward and you want to give them the very best of you, so that they feel comfortable moving forward to the wedding, that you're going to make them feel and look the way they want to. So it's if it's somebody who's traveling from abroad, for example, or an elopement wedding, which living in Bath, near the Roman Bath, there's a lot of elopement weddings that happen there. It's not always possible, but then we do an extended video call to make sure that we're on the same page. And I get them to send me lots of images of themselves and, their face, so I can see their face shape, their hair length, skin tone, what they're going to be wearing, so that I can make sure that I get it right. But they're really important. It's not, as I think some people, I saw a thing on Facebook yesterday in a wedding group, people go, isn't it just them trying to get more money out of us? And it's not about that at all. It really can build the foundation to make sure that you get it exactly how you want it on the wedding day.
I think that's a very important point you make. I think for any supplier that's out there and they don't do stuff pre-wedding, you need to kind of add it to what you do, because from a photography point of view, like building rapport is so important, because you're there all day. You're probably there for about a third of the day, I'd imagine, or a quarter of the day. So it's really important to kind of build that rapport, either through video calls or, I suppose for myself, doing engagement or pre-wedding shoots. But if you're not doing it, it's something that you should really be doing. But what in terms of trials, like I know nothing, do I? But is there anything that brides should like bring along to a trial? Like, do they need to bring like anything that might inspire, like you can get inspired by from like their venue or their dress or that kind of stuff?
I always ask them to. We have I use a booking system that allows them to. They have like their own portal on it, and there's I ask a pre-trial or preview questionnaire, which just asks them a few questions to give me a better idea, if we haven't already covered, about what they're looking for, any concerns, any skincare concerns, anything they, specifically want or don't want. And then I invite them to sort of upload any preview or inspiration images onto this portal, so that I can see what kind of thing they're thinking. And that's always really interesting to see the type of images people upload, because
Pinterest.
I think we all get a lot of AI generated images.
Is that more of a thing now then, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
And so for me, being realistic is key. I'd never say to someone, oh, yeah, I can do that. Instantly, I'll say, well, that's AI and we have to be realistic. For example, if your skin, nobody's got completely smooth skin, but if your skin has texture on it, then you're never going to get it to look completely smooth. There will always be texture on it. You can make the skin tone look even, but you can't cover up if there is texture there. And that should be celebrated. It's the dangers of social media and all of that, and this portraying this perfect image, of a bride who is tiny and svelte and tall and slender and has got lots of hair and smooth skin. It's just not reality, and it makes our job a bit harder. So I will always say we need to be realistic. I can get the kind of overall vibe of what you want to achieve, but your hair is very different to her hair. She's got probably 2 packs of extra extensions in, which you may not want. And it's not, again, the kind of look that I would do when you have to add so much fake hair. It's okay to add a bit, but some of these Pinterest images can be a bit more misleading and damaging sometimes. I would always ask them for the kind of thing they want. And if I don't think it's going to suit them, or I don't think it's the kind of look I'm comfortable doing, I will always be quite honest with them. And 9.999 times out of 10 we'll get to something that we're both really happy with. But there have been times when you say, I just don't think that we are on the same page, and I think you would maybe be best suited to find someone else who would give you the full coverage makeup that you want, the real high glam. And that's fine, but it's just not what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I do that occasionally when I always encourage couples to have a phone call beforehand, and I've only had to do it maybe once or twice where I've gone, I don't think we're like the right fit. Like I think, and then point them in a direction where you think actually that photographer will suit them better. But I think Faye mentioned about AI and her getting images through. Sorry, Faye from Bridal. She gets the same with wedding dresses in terms of like AI
really?
images and stuff. Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned it because I guess it's a lot of people are using ChatGPT and stuff like that now to get their inspiration, but actually, yeah, it's probably nothing from like reality at all. I mean, I did have a bride the other day. Her skin was super smooth, actually, probably the smoothest skin I've ever seen. And I think the makeup artist on that day, she was like, "What do you do?" Like, and she was like, "Basically, I do nothing." But it's like
the way they do nothing. They got the most amazing skin.
and I was like, I'm not stalking or anything, but when I've seen your Instagram and stuff like that, I'm like, how is it? Like her skin is like amazing. But yeah, I suppose AI is just one of those things, isn't it? People got to live with, but it doesn't help you at all, does it, in your work?
It's going back before AI, they would be airbrushed images. So there would be an image that had been airbrushed over to make the skin look really smooth. And I think also you can look at an inspirational image.
Yep.
But if you've got somebody who's doesn't wear makeup day to day, and when they go out they just pop a little bit of mascara on, and they're giving me an image of what I would class as kind of glam makeup, I see sometimes you have to, in the nicest possible way, educate people and say, well, you're telling me you don't want much makeup, but actually that is quite a lot in this picture. So that's always quite hard to gauge when someone says, oh, I like quite heavy eye makeup. Heavy to one person is not heavy to the next. So that's what the preview is about, and you have the beauty of time. As a preview, even though they're time limited, I give a much longer window of time than I would on the wedding day. So if there are things that need tweaking, which invariably that happens, you've got the time to do that. Whereas if you don't have that preview and you go in cold on the wedding day, and they've said, right, I like quite heavy eyeliner, I like a lot of blush, I would always build it up slowly. But if it's not quite right, and they're like, right, you're getting married in half an hour, we need to get a move on. Although for the record, I would never take it that close to the wire. Just FYI, I would never go that close to the ceremony time. But you get what I'm saying. You don't have the time to play around with it.
Yep. Is it quite normal then for, you said about tweaks and stuff like that? Is it normal to see a change between like doing a trial preview and the wedding day?
Yeah, and that's I used to take it so personally. People would, they'd go away from their trial really happy, and then they'd come back and say, actually, can I have a bit more of that, a bit less of that? Can I have this a bit more like this? And I'd be like, oh no, I've done a rubbish job. But it's so personal. It's so personal. And when a hair or makeup artist does somebody's hair or makeup, it's going to always look different to the client because it's not them doing their own hair and makeup. It's somebody different. So it's always going to look a bit different. And it takes a while to settle, so they can like it in the moment and say, yeah, that's perfect. And when they go away, they think, actually, I would like a little bit more blush, a bit more colour on my cheeks, or a slightly brighter lip, or a slightly lighter eye. So that's, as long as the fundamentals are there and they feel essentially like themselves, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. You touched on it very quickly there, but do you find it's happening more and more in the industry where people are doing their own hair and makeup? It's not great for you, but it's...
yeah, it's not great, but yeah, I think 2025 and this 2026, I've spoken to a lot of people, not just in makeup and hair. Spoken to other vendors who are finding that a lot of people are booking last minute. I don't know, again, with photography, I have had quite a few brides last year that were like, oh, we've got a family friend who's taking the photos. We needed to shave the budget down. And so we've got, my uncle who does it as a hobby, or we've got that person. And if anyone's ever wavering about a photographer, I always say, please invest in photography, because I kid you not, I have seen when people haven't, and it doesn't go well, pretty much.
We've harped on about that a few times recently, whether it's on here or on Instagram. So don't worry.
Yeah, no, but I do. I think people always think wedding equals, thousands of pounds, because they're just in it for the money. And any wedding supplier will tell you that we earn our money because of all the blood, sweat, and tears that goes on, behind the scenes. And there's all the work that people don't see. I think, again, photographers, people see you turn up, you take a few photos. I think they think you go home, just download it and off you go.
Yep.
With us, we just turn up, we paint and we go. There's so much more to it. But yeah, I've forgotten what your original question was now. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
I probably forgot to. No, so it was just basically, I probably forgotten to. But yeah, don't worry. No, because I think, if there is an area where people should think, I said the other day, if you're spending 1,000 or 2,000, or no, Pat said this actually, so I won't take his quote away. But if you're spending over like 1,000 or 2,000 pounds more than what you're budgeting on photography, like in 10 years, that's that investment is going to be worth it.
Oh, you were saying, sorry, about people doing their own makeup, and yes.
Oh yeah, we're going back to that.
That was my fault. I did go
crisscrossing.
It is. I mean, it's a hard one, because sometimes people are very, very conscious of maybe their skin is a good one to highlight. If somebody's got very, very challenging skin, and they've taken years to work out what works for them, what products work for them, what foundation particularly they like to use, what concealer works for them, how they apply it. I can transfer my knowledge to do it in the way that I would do it, but it might be in a way that they still feel self-conscious about it.
Yep.
So the only way that they can feel at their best is if they do it how they're used to doing it. But there's that element to it. And then there's the element of people wanting to save money. Yeah. So they'll do it by themselves. But a lot of people that book last minute are like, I was going to do it myself, but then I suddenly got freaked out and realized I'll be too stressed and I can't do it. And then you get to the wedding and they're like, oh God, I'm so glad I didn't do it myself, because I'm too nervous.
Yeah. Do you ever find you get a booking where it might be in that case that someone's done it either last minute because they're worried about products and that kind of stuff? Do you ever find where you get a booking or turn up at a wedding day and people want to use their own products rather than what you use?
It's normally something we would have discussed in advance.
Okay.
Someone's got allergies to certain things, or sensitive eyes. A mascara can be a big trigger for some people that have got sensitive eyes. So they're like, is it okay if I use my own mascara? And I don't think I've ever done a full face using somebody else's, but depending on the circumstances, if it's because they're just distrusting of the products that I use, then I'd be like, well, I prefer to use all mine because I know how they integrate with each other. I know what the result's going to be. But if they're insistent, I will, I'm not rigid. I will be flexible where I can, but just with the caveat that I don't know how. If it's a product I've not used before and it's a brand I'm not familiar with, I can't say how it's gonna apply, or how it's gonna look on camera, how it's gonna wear, how long it's gonna last. So there's normally a caveat with it, but it's normally something we would have discussed in advance before that point.
Talking of your products, because on Instagram obviously you've got yourself down as cruelty free. Just explain that to anybody that doesn't understand that, and is it something that you are big on?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I don't have anything in my hair kit or my makeup kit that is tested on animals, and by that, many people will know, lots of people won't, that cruelty free means that it's not sold from a company, a brand that tests on that sells in China. So anything you buy, like in the UK, won't have been tested on animals, pretty much. This is how I understand it. Please, I could be wrong. But if that brand, so like Bobbi Brown, for example, a big makeup company, amazing products, which I used to use before I decided to go down this route. Bobbi Brown sells in China, in mainland China, in stores. And by Chinese law, they will not agree to sell a company's product unless it goes through their own rigorous testing process, which means testing it on animals. So Bobbi Brown can't be classed as a cruelty-free brand because it agrees to China testing on animals on its behalf.
Interesting.
So that's, it seems in this day and age a crazy thing to still go on. And it is a challenge, actually, because there are lots of products, particularly hair products, that I've learned about from people that are very, educators that are amazing in their field. And there's lots of products that are kind of high street products that are fantastic and really inexpensive. So when you're buying quite a lot, it's really good for you as a supplier to be able to buy slightly cheaper products that work. But a lot of those aren't cruelty-free. So sometimes it's trying to find an alternative that's cruelty-free that's as good as, and nearly always it's more expensive. So, the ethics stays strong there. I would rather, stick to that and pay a bit more for something than not.
And do you get many brides that are specifically looking for that?
Not as many as I thought, actually, but there are lots that say I was wavering, and actually between you and like a couple of others, and that was what swung it for me. As long as because you were all very similar, but I like the idea. You get a few that want cruelty-free or vegan. A lot of the products that I stock are vegan as well.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's a really difficult market to be in. It's I don't like to think about it too much because it's hard when but that's really important to me.
Yeah.
So
and it's good to see, actually, there's quite a few hair and makeup suppliers that I know that go down the same route, or have gone down the same route, and don't have anything that's tested on animals. So
what's crazy is you'll get some brands that'll say they'll announce, make a big deal about a product being vegan, but the brand still tests on animals. So they kind of hoodwink you a little bit, some of them.
It's the thing out there, like at the moment, obviously B certified companies as well, like using renewable sources and all that kind of stuff. Like I bet half of them just like have very like on the edge, like we are certified, and it's just like they're probably still using. But it's one of those things, isn't it?
It's hard. It's hard because also the waste from, like with my I try and be as ethical as I can. So, if I have like disposables like mascara wands, things like that, I actually use mascara brushes that can be washed and reused again. Okay. But the ones that I do have that are disposable, they're all bamboo. So they're kind of as eco-friendly as you can get. And there's some big makeup companies that do makeup packaging recycling schemes. I think like Boots do it, and Superdrug used to have one, and Rimmel. But they say you have to like clean out all the products. Now, if you've ever tried to clean out some of the makeup products that you buy, it's really almost impossible. So they make it really hard for you to recycle, and that I get a bit stressed that some of it has to be thrown away because you just can't clean it out. I don't like that.
Now, you mentioned earlier about either people leaving it too late to book and stuff like that. How? Because I had a bride last year. Actually, no, 2 years now. Oh my God, time flies in the wedding industry. So her wedding was in September 24, and she left it probably like 4 or 5 months before her wedding day to book her hair and makeup stylist, and didn't actually get the person that she wanted. So then she was obviously in a bit of a panic. So how far do you take bookings in advance, or have taken bookings in advance, and is it something that you recommend couples to look at booking sooner than
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, and everyone's very different. Everybody runs their business in a
Yeah.
very bespoke way. I personally only open my so at the end of each year, November, December. So December 24, I opened my 2027 diary.
Okay.
Some people do it a lot further in advance. I know there's people now that are taking bookings for 28. I can't. My brain doesn't allow me to think that far ahead. I can't do it. And so it's a bit of self-preservation on my front. But you need to be looking, I'd say, a good 12 months ahead. If you want your pick of the suppliers, and that goes for all of them, I would suggest you need to be looking about 12 months. You can leave it later. You might get lucky that the person you want's got a gap, because some people do have little spaces in their diary that they're looking to fill. But yeah, it's like being organized, isn't it? Which I'm so not, so I don't know why I'm preaching. If you want a certain person, then get in touch. And if people get in touch with me and my diary isn't open for the year they're booking, I put them on a waiting list, and then I contact them when it is open and say, right, I'm now taking bookings. Here's my brochure. If you want to go ahead, then we'll have a chat and take things from there. But yeah, I'm still getting inquiries. So this is, what are we, 2nd of March?
Crazy.
I'm still getting inquiries for May, June. It's it's just the way that the industry's changed, I think. Like, we're going back to social media. People looking online, there's so many tutorials and inspiration. I can do it. And then they're getting closer, thinking, no, I can't do it. I can't have that pressure on myself. They might physically be able to do it, but on the day. So you get people that couldn't afford it, and they're like, oh, my mum's given us some money towards the wedding, so I'm now going to use it for good.
I think it's a pressure thing, but it's also a time thing, isn't it? Like, if you're doing it yourself, you're going to have that added stress, which you don't want on your wedding day. Obviously, you mentioned someone got highly stressed on their wedding day. I had it last year where a bride was like throwing up because she was so stressed on her wedding day, even though she had hair and makeup. But it's like, you don't want that added pressure, do you, of being having to do it yourself, and then obviously like maybe running overtime or under time. Like, I had one of my first brides actually in 23. She did it herself, and it was 35 degrees outside, and it's all started to melt like 10 minutes before the ceremony.
That's the thing as well. Like, that's a really good thing to highlight is adverse weather, but heat particularly. And also, a lot of people say to me, I can never make my makeup stay on. You hire someone who's been in the industry a while, who knows how to layer the products and how to get it to stay. But even if the result would be the same, you probably wouldn't go through the same processes. Or I curl people's hair and they're like, my hair never holds a curl. Oh my God, it held all day. Because people don't generally use as much product on themselves as we would, because specifically in the wedding industry, it's got to last for many, many hours. And that's the kind of steps that people doing it themselves might skip or might not know about. And that's, again, why it's an investment, but it's a worthy investment, I think, especially if you are investing in a professional photographer. Because your photographs are such high grade, the clarity on them, and if you have such beautiful photos but you haven't really taken the time to get your hair and makeup the way that you would really like it to look, it's a bit of a shame, I think.
When you talk about with adverse conditions, do you go less makeup? Like, if it is really hot, do you tend to go less, or how do you normally do it?
I mean, where possible, because, and this is where like good skin comes into it. So your bride, lucky duck, having the lovely smooth skin. I think we always try and educate our clients in advance about the importance of skincare. Because when it comes to makeup lasting, that will have not only how it looks but how it lasts. That has a large bearing on it. And when it's hot, if it's driving sideways rain, whether it's really hot, I suppose I do try and go as light as I can get away with, and still achieve the look that they want. But but it's about layering it and setting it in the right places, and using certain products to help keep it in place. But if it's really hot, people are going to sweat, and I've never yet had one bride come back and say my makeup ran off my face, and there have been in the summer, even in the UK, some of those, like you said, 30+ degree days.
Yeah.
And I had one bride, and I remember she said to me on one of those days, "Oh, we couldn't have our photos taken till the evening because it was so hot." And I was thinking, oh God, her makeup must have been like melted. She said, no, everything was still perfect. So
that's good.
That's when you can go away and give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back and sigh of relief.
Do you have any tips for making hair and makeup last all day?
It comes back to the prep, really.
Yeah.
So with hair, getting a good grade, professional grade shampoo and conditioner, making sure that there isn't a build-up of product in it. But it also, comes down to how it's styled and the products that are used, layering the products. And the same with makeup. If you have skin that's really, really dehydrated, and you don't ever exfoliate it, then all the dead skin cells that we get that need to be kind of shed and buffed away from time to time to allow new cell turnover and growth, they just pile up basically, and so it creates a little bit of a barrier, and either the skin will absorb all the moisture from the products, or it just will sit as it'll be like a bit form of barrier. So it won't stay. So a lot of it comes down to the prep, which I go through with all my clients to help them get to that point.
I've probably got the most dehydrated skin out there. So, although I did go to a spa the other day, albeit for my wife's birthday, so we don't do it very often. But we did like a facial session, and there's me rubbing on all these different creams and stuff, and actually my skin felt great afterwards. But do I do it every day? No.
No, I know my husband's rubbish. He won't do it either, but. Yeah, it pays to give a little bit of attention to it. It will, and as we age as well, you think of dehydrated fruit. Think of a raisin. It's got no moisture in it. Think how shriveled it goes and wrinkly. And if you've got plump, hydrated skin, it's only going to serve you as you mature, like a fine wine.
Wrinkles. I mean, you don't look a day over 50, so you're doing great.
A month over 50, yeah.
No, you're doing great. I wouldn't have even said you were anywhere near 50, to be fair. So
thanks for my favourite today.
Hey.
I'm learning to embrace it. It freaked me out. 30 freaked me out. 40 freaked me out. 50 freaked me out, good and proper, because I'm not even middle-aged. I'm over middle-aged now. I'm not going to live to 100, I don't think. So
I don't think anyone thinks that, do they?
Yeah. So it's, and I do look after my skin.
I'm getting near 40, so when I get to 39, I'm going to be feeling, aren't I?
So I didn't tell you so. No.
I
know that's the thing. There's a lot of people in the industry that are younger.
Yeah.
And so I do feel that pressure a little bit. I know age is just a number. But particularly when it comes to marketing and social media, there are other people that are probably find it more enjoyable and less stressful than me. And I don't know if that's just a personality thing or an age thing. I still try and resist technology to a point because I grew up in an era without it largely, and so that for me so it's something I struggle with. So when somebody says to me, I think I love your website, I love your Instagram, I wholeheartedly take that and run with it, because it is something I find quite challenging when you're up against someone who's 30, who's, like you said, grown up with it, and it's second nature to them to bang out an Instagram reel, where I'm still clunking along after an hour and a half, and then it crashes on me.
I was talking to my wife about this the other day, actually. The amount of technological changes that yourself and I have seen, in our lifetimes, from cassettes from cassettes to CDs to MP3s. Oh, sorry, mini discs. Then to MP3s, and now it's all obviously on your phone. We obviously had dial-up.
Yeah.
Anyone know what dial-up is back in the day? We had then obviously like
Ooh,
Wi-Fi,
that noise when
broadband.
it used to crash.
Isn't it crazy? Like how many things we've had to grow up with, and the same thing with social media, and it always changes. Like I had a bride the other day who literally, apart from myself and the videographer, everything else was booked on TikTok.
Oh,
Like,
wow,
and that
really?
was a real wake up call for me because I do TikTok, but at the same time, like I'm not consistent on there because like
No,
at least 20-30% of my bookings come on Instagram every year. So like, is it the next generation? Is that the platform that they're going to be on?
I think
So
it is. And there are a lot of people that would say you have to be on TikTok to be successful now
yeah,
these days. And but for my own well-being and mental health,
no,
I haven't gone near TikTok because
it's fair play.
I would just get sucked into that TikTok black hole.
Got to do some dances.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I can do dancing, but and I would, and for my own sanity, I can't go there. I
No.
just can't go there, and it may be damaging to my business. I may be missing out, but I don't know. I don't know. I find Instagram enough.
Yep.
I post maybe a couple of times a week,
Yep.
if that, and I know I need to be more consistent, but it is a challenge. It is genuinely a challenge for me, and I don't want it to be a challenge. I want it to be something that's,
Yep.
yeah, that I enjoy. So I've just got to turn my power on. So I'm gonna disappear.
You're
Yeah,
back
I
on
want
the.
it to be something that I enjoy, and I think the more I would feel I have to do it, the more I have to do it
Yep.
because society dictates I should be doing it,
Mm-hmm.
the less I enjoy it. I'm very spontaneous. I'm very led by my feelings and how I feel on a certain day. I can't plan. I can't
Mm-hmm.
plan posts in advance. I've tried, and it just for me doesn't work.
Yeah.
I do it in the moment, how I'm feeling,
No, it's a
and I'm
good.
happy to show up as well as my like no makeup, scruffy, authentic self. Because when I'm not working, I don't wear makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in dog walking clothes most of the time doing my admin. I enjoy days when I do make a bit of an effort, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not for me. I'm not someone who can't leave the house without unless I've got makeup on. Um, and so social media, that slightly fake image that everybody sees, that really triggers me.
I don't think we're quite there yet where every booking is going to come from TikTok. So I think I always stress this to people I talk to, like, do whatever platform you feel comfortable being on. Like I was going to mention this earlier with what type of makeup and stuff to use. Just you do you. That's something I
Yeah.
always say to couples or other suppliers. Just you do you, and whatever you feel comfortable being on or doing,
Yeah,
just do
I
it.
saw it from
Because
a personal stylist actually the other day,
yeah,
and she's somebody that I kind of know a bit, and I follow her on socials. And she said, she does a lot of one-to-one personal shopping with people. She said, I'm so sick of people saying, well, I really like my skinny jeans and I think I look good in them, but they're not in at the moment, so I can't wear them. She's like, for goodness sake, if you feel good in them, wear them.
yep,
Wear what you feel good in, and it's the same. Do what you feel good doing. And I think again, yeah, like I mean, never say never, but if I were to show up on TikTok, I think I would be doing it because I felt I should be doing it,
you
not
have
because I
to, yeah,
wanted to be doing
have
it.
to rather than wanting to,
And
yeah,
I want to be authentic. I want people to see me for who I am because let's face it, you buy from people, don't you?
yep,
Yeah. In
that's
this
it,
industry, it's not just what they do, it's how they do it and who they are,
yep,
who we are, I should say.
that's true. I haven't really talked about hair very much. It's kind of a joint question with makeup as well, but it's not really a myth either. But just giving some advice to couples or to brides and bridesmaids in particular, like, do bridesmaids need to particularly have matching hair or makeup, like, or do you treat it very like personal or person to person?
Yeah, I do. And I'm seeing this more and more now. I think it's getting rarer that brides will have like the same dress for all the bridesmaids and they'll want them to
Uh,
have all the
yeah,
same hair. Even if they've had wear the same dresses now, it's quite often they'll go, no, you have what you want. And I would always say that to a bride, let your bridesmaids choose what would work for them best. Because if you make everybody, it's the same as your body shape, as hair. If you make everybody have the same hairstyle,
It's not going to suit.
It's not necessarily going to work for everybody.
No.
So for a good example is like a half up, half down. So you have half the top of the hair tied back and the bottom half down. Somebody like me has got the finest, thinnest hair known to man. If you take half of it away and you've just got like a little bit hanging down, it'll go really kind of like ratty and it won't look very nice. If it's really hot as well, the curls will drop really quickly if it's straight, or it might go frizzy. So pretty much most people know their hair best, right? So let them do what they feel comfortable with rather than what you know, trying to uniform everybody.
Do you find it more chaotic having to do different things for different people, or
It's quite nice. It's quite nice sometimes.
That's good.
I always say, like, you know, can you have some kind of inspirational image? And again, to the bride, I would say just, you know, they've got to be realistic. I give a 45-minute slot for bridesmaids hair. It's got to be something that's achievable within that time slot. So they can't be wanting anything too crazy. And they're generally pretty good.
Nice.
I think communication's key, isn't it? So
definitely,
if you're telling your bride what you need from them, then it's going to all work better on the day. And not having. There's been the odd bridesmaid diva that you probably see as well when you're going throughout the day.
I'm going to touch wood, to be fair. I have not had any divas or bridezillas yet. Maybe one, but it's just how you deal with it. And I think you mentioned it very, very briefly about someone maybe like not, especially when it comes to like just arriving in the room and you've got half asleep brides and bridesmaids. But have you ever had anyone that's kind of like hated being in a chair, and how do you like deal with that?
I suppose I get a lot of people that are very low on self-esteem. And just very nervous. You get people that are really nervous having their makeup more so done than their hair. Because it's your face, right? So and I think most people are used to going to a hairdresser. So again, you've been used to that feeling of having someone sort of touching your hair. But with face, it's that extra step, you know, closer, literally, physically. And you do get people that are very nervous. So I just do my best to read how they are. And this goes for, you know, for bridesmaids, whoever it is. If I can tell that they're really not wanting to have a chat, I'll just work in like silence and I'll just check in with them. I'll let them look in the mirror as we're going, say, are you happy with that? Does that feel okay? And I'll just be led by them. You just have to reassure them that you're not going to do anything crazy. If they really hate it, they can take it off. I'm not tattooing their face. They can take it off. I've never had anybody say I hate it. So
win-win.
I hope that'll never happen.
Or has everyone just been super nice to you?
They get around the corner. She was rubbish.
Imagine. Just a quick one, because this is actually going to probably be like one of the longest episodes so far, and it's on a subject that I don't know anything about. Although I've learned a lot today, to be fair. That's fine. But from a photography point of view, and actually if a photographer's listening to this episode, what do you feel, because you've probably obviously you would have worked with way more photographers than I have, but what do you feel works best, or what's the best interactions that you can have with a photographer on a wedding morning in the bridal prep space?
It's really interesting because quite often you guys don't turn up till a bit later, and it might be when the bride's in the chair. But when I do my schedules, I always have the bride in the chair like second to last. So that's typically around the time the photographer turns up. And so it's expected that the photographer would come in and say hello to the bride. What I would say is it's really nice if they acknowledge the hairstylist or makeup artist as well, because believe me, not every photographer does that. And so you feel a little bit invisible, which, we're all in got a common goal. So it's nice to be able to sort of say hi, and I will always stop what I'm doing for a little bit, depending on how the time schedule's looking.
Yep.
You know, if everybody's been in chair on time, then we're okay. But if we're running a bit behind, I don't want to offend you all now by saying this,
Do it.
but
We've got to
what
learn,
is
haven't we?
really, yeah, what is really quite frustrating is, yeah, if you're working with the bride, they come in, they say hello. What would be really helpful is if a photographer says, right, I can see you getting your makeup done. I'm going to go and do this. I'll come back and chat to you in a minute. Whereas quite often the photographer will stand there and say, how's it going? How did you sleep? How's the morning going? What's this? And they'll stand chatting about the schedule right there and then when we're trying to finish the makeup.
Lipstick.
And that can
Trying to
be
talk.
quite frustrating.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Nicest possible way. I understand you want to speak to them, but yeah, if there's a way that it can be done so that they can be speaking to you when they're not in the middle of having their face done, that would be really helpful.
Oh, that's good to know.
Is that brutal? Is that okay?
Obviously, the best thing from us for a bridal prep space, and you don't get this in all bridal prep spaces, is natural light. And I know a lot of people turn up with like their own lights and stuff now.
Yeah.
What do you do when you get into a bridal prep space, thinking ahead to when a photographer might enter the room? Is there stuff that you do to kind of help benefit not just yourself with natural light, but potentially with photographers as well?
Yeah, as much as possible. You know, as you will know, some bridal prep spaces, depending on if it's in a venue, you know, you've got to work with what you've got, have it on you. And so, yeah, I think I will always set up in the best space for me to be able to get the natural light. But, you know, like last year I was in a bedroom and there was, you know, like eaves coming down either side. So the bride was literally in front of the only window in the room and I had to keep ducking down, even though I'm only 5'2", to get under the roof to kind of get into her face. And so, yeah, for photographs, it did make a bit challenging. But, you know, I'm always really happy with photographers to say, right, if you want to get some shots, should we cheat it after I've done? You don't have to necessarily do it while I'm working. If it's not convenient, we can move it a little bit. We can cheat it round so the light's better for you. I can just pretend to be touching up eyes or lips or whatever, so you get that shot. And I think when the bride looks back at it, they won't think, oh, she wasn't really doing my lips at that point, she was pretending. So it still gets the element and the essence of the moment, but so that it works best to your vantage point, and you know, as well.
From your point of view, from hair or makeup, which would you prefer to have more natural light for?
Oh, for makeup, definitely. There's no substitute. I do carry a ring light because, again, there's, especially if you're starting early in the morning in, you know, winter and it's dark, or you've got a hotel room that's only got down lights, which are really bad because they cast shadows. Orange. And as you know, they're orangey cast, which is really hard.
Hate it.
But yeah, it's how do you feel about makeup artists or hairstylists saying, would you be happy to get a couple of, you know, like closer images as part of the day's portfolio of, well, not necessarily just of us working, but of the bride, say, so afterwards we have a picture of, you know, that showcases the makeup or of the hair and things like that?
It's something I always do. I always either get the details of the suppliers beforehand, or I then send galleries to suppliers afterwards too. So I always either try and get photos as I'm walking around, either of the suppliers themselves or getting really nice facial shots of the bride.
Yeah, that's so appreciated, because not everybody does that. And again, whilst I appreciate it's not, you know, we're there to do a job for the client. It's really nice. You know, I have said to some photographers, would you be happy to get a couple of portrait shots of the hair and makeup? And they're like, yeah, no problem. And generally speaking, people are happy to do it, but there have been some that have like, no, I don't do that, or they won't share the gallery and stuff. So it's really appreciated, because we don't always, again, have time to take photos.
No,
always
professional photos anyway.
Yeah. So that's always really nice when the photographer's very open to sharing and stuff as well. That's really nice.
I always think you never know where the next booking's coming from. So especially with like hair and makeup, you know, some might work by themselves, some might go back to a salon, someone then might get engaged and then straight away to getting their hair done and go, oh, I'm getting married now, blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, I know a nice photographer, or
Yeah.
so you just never know. And I just think it's always best for marketing. I always hate it when I hear from suppliers that they don't have any professional photographs. So like there was a singer the other day, and she said, and she's coming on the show in a few weeks' time. I was like, oh, do you have any like professional photographs of yourself? And she's like, no, I don't have any, apart from one that she went to a couple of weeks ago. So I can just use this one. But it's like really surprising actually how many photographers don't actually like think about actually where it could benefit their business by getting some photos of other suppliers.
Yeah, it's an inclusive industry, I
Yeah.
think, generally as a whole. I did have one photographer years ago that I asked if he would be happy, and I always say, are you happy to share the gallery with me with the couple's permission? And I had one that basically said, no, you can whistle for it. So
Did you whistle for it?
I didn't. No, funnily enough, I didn't. I wasn't inclined to follow that one up. But that was when I was really new to it, and it freaked me out. And I was like, actually that's quite rude for one thing. But like you said, I get some people that do book my services before they've got the photographer. So I do recommend photographers to people, or photophagers, as my daughter once called them.
Photographers.
Photophager.
Right. I want to kind of wrap this up a little bit because mainly because the day's getting on. But
you got lunch.
But I've actually really enjoyed this chat. It's been really good. And actually, I am learning as I'm going through these episodes. And I did feel actually today I've been leading from one question to the next, which has been really good. But any final bits of advice for brides? What should they prioritize when booking hair or makeup? What should they let go of when they're thinking about booking or what to do?
I think essentially you want to look amazing. You want to feel at your best.
Yep.
So look at your suppliers when you're looking for suppliers. If you don't see any images on their website or their socials that doesn't resonate with you, chances are they're not going to be the person for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you see images, you think, actually, I love that. And then hopefully, as I try to do, show a bit of my personality in amongst my socials, so that you get a little bit of a feel of who I am and what I'm about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you need to see something in their style that you like. It's no good booking somebody saying, yeah, I want you to do high glam, because that isn't me, and I'm not going to feel comfortable doing it or be very good at it. So that's it. And book in advance, like we said.
Yeah.
Think about it as soon as you're booking venue is normally the first one.
Yep.
Photographers are quite often second. If it's something that you're interested in, start looking at it early.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your pick of the field then. And to supply to brides, I would say, if you inquire with somebody and they're not the right fit for you through budget or whatever else, it's really lovely if you can just say thank you, but no thank you, rather than not coming back at all. That's really appreciated.
Not talking about ghosting, are we?
Yeah, ghosting is a sad time when you get ghosted, but
That's all right.
It's really helpful if people can just confirm one way or another.
Yep. Well, it's been awesome to have you on today.
Thanks.
Hopefully you feel less nervous now than you did at the beginning. But
I could chat for another hour.
Good. I'm running out.
You've got things to do. Yeah.
No, it's fine. No, it's really appreciated. And I always do mention this to every supplier that I have on the show, but where can we find you? I know you're not big on TikTok, but it's fine. We'll get there, right? No, joking.
No.
But where can people find you? Website, Instagram?
So website is leannabiggsmakeupandhair.com. So the makeup before the hair. I like a point of difference.
Yeah.
And Instagram is LB Makeup and Hair. And I also have my pro team, which is LB Pro Team at Instagram as well. And that's on my website as well. So yeah, I have a team of few other hair and makeup artists that do jobs collectively as part of my brand as well. Oh, sorry, I've just spun you round there.
It's all right. You're getting ready for the first TikTok.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm going to go and hydrate my skin after this. I
Please
don't know
do.
what with, but yeah,
I want an update, what you've used, and yeah, how you
serums
getting
and all
on.
that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was a pleasure having you on the show today, and hopefully I'll catch you at another wedding soon.
Yeah, hopefully. And thank you to you actually for all you've done some great endorsements of when we worked together, and you've been very, very kind and complimentary about me and my work. So yeah, thank you. I'm very grateful for that.
No worries. Right, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you,
Thank
James.
you.
Mhm.
All right, so that's the end of that episode, and thank you so much to Leanna for coming on the show. For somebody that didn't know anything about hair and makeup, I I asked a lot of questions, and I am getting a lot more comfortable with doing these podcasts. So hopefully you can feel that too. If you have been watching along on YouTube, don't forget to give me a subscribe or actually hit the like button. That goes a long way. And then on Spotify too, if you are listening along, make sure you press the follow button or you can leave a review. And I have actually learned that the follow button is really quite powerful on Spotify. So there's 13 of you at the moment that follow along. So if you can press that button on Spotify, that'd be really good. And I need to make the effort of actually introducing the channels and stuff a bit better at the beginning of the episodes rather than at the end when everyone's switched off. So I doubt anyone's been listening to me waffling on at the end. Anyway, next week, or the next episode, I've got another couple on the show. I've got the lovely Abby and Josh coming on, who got married a couple of years ago. And actually, I think I referenced Abby in this episode in regards to booking of supplies. So we'll be chatting to Abby and Josh about their lovely day. I'm not sure if their kid's going to be along because now they've got a little one. So that's super exciting. So a previous couple, we had a dog on the show, and then Abby and Josh, they might have their little one. But yeah, really excited for that one. It was a beautiful wedding day, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more bits out of them that future couples might be able to take forward to their wedding planning. Anyway, hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.